Hello everyone, my name is Zineb and I'm presenting our study called Cluster-Based Classification of Multiple Sclerosis Patients. In this work, we use gait data and machine learning to identify walking patterns in people with multiple sclerosis. Today's presentation is structured into 5 main sections. We will start with an introduction. Next, I will discuss the problematic and objectives. Following that, we'll move into the method of the project. Afterward, we'll look at the experimental results. And finally, we will wrap up with the conclusion and perspectives. Multiple sclerosis is a chronic disease that damages the central nervous system. It affects mostly young adults and causes problems such as muscle weakness, spasticity, and poor balance. Gait, or the way people walk, is one of the most common and disabling symptoms. Because of this, studying gait can help us understand and detect the effects of MS earlier. Our project started a few years ago. It focused on voice and handwriting analysis. It was led by PhD graduates. They worked with the neurology department at University Hospital in Fez. Now, in my second year, I am analyzing walking patterns. This new step builds on our earlier work. It adds another layer to our ongoing research. At this stage, we are collecting a Moroccan database of control subjects and people with multiple sclerosis. The main problem is that traditional clinical tools are not sensitive enough to detect early gait changes in MS. This happens for several reasons. First, MS symptoms are very variable. Patients can have different types of muscle weakness, balance issues, or spasticity, making it hard to evaluate with one single test. Second, standard tests like the EDSS or the 25-foot walk only measure walking time or distance. They miss detailed gait information such as step length, symmetry, or variability. And third, early gait problems can be very subtle and not visible during a short clinical exam. And finally, current diagnostic methods are mostly subjective and depend on the doctor's observation, not on quantitative data. Because of these reasons, we need an objective data-based approach like gait analysis combined with machine learning to detect and classify gait changes more accurately in MS patients. This diagram explains why gait analysis is important in MS. The disease damages nerves and muscles, which breaks communication in the brain. This leads to weakness, spasticity, and problems with balance and coordination. All these issues cause walking difficulties, which are one of the most disabling symptoms of MS. Gait analysis helps us to detect these changes earlier and in a more reliable way. Now let's talk about the method of the study. This diagram shows us the step-by-step method that we aim to apply in our project. We start by gathering walking data from people at CHU Fez, calculate parameters, so we calculate specific gait characteristics from this data. Then we pick out the most important features for our study. With these, we train a model to predict gait patterns. After that, we check how well our model works and look for ways to make it better. And finally, we use all this to build a smart system that can spot signs of diseases early on just by analyzing how people walk. The material used is called Get Right system. This mat, measuring 4.6 meters long by 0.9 meters wide, contains 6 sensor pads. each containing 2,304 pressure sensors. These pads transmit data every 26 to 31 milliseconds to a computer where it gets processed by the GateRide software. Now, the experimental results. First of all, the exercise under study is to walk on the GateRide mat, starting the step before stepping onto the mat to ensure the right foot pressure when collecting footprints. And the proposed methodology is starting by features computing. Based on the footprints provided by the GetRight mats, we calculate 80 features, such as kinematic features, which include walking velocity and acceleration, spatial features that covers the directionality of steps, the curvature of the walking path, and the length of steps. And finally, mechanical features such as the pressure exerted on the mat with each step, along with the variation in pressure throughout the gait cycle. These features help us understand how the body moves during walking. They include moments when the feet are in the air. These metrics can give insights into how the body weighs and balances itself as it moves. Next, we apply the elbow method to define the number of clusters. The elbow method is a way to pick the best number of groups for Cummins clustering. It works by plotting a graph where we add more clusters and see how the inertia goes down. On the chart, we have inertia on the vertical axis and the number of clusters on the horizontal axis. As we add more clusters, the inertia drops quickly at first, but then slows down. We look for the point where the drop starts to level out and it looks like an elbow. And here, the perfect number of clusters is 4. After that, we apply the Cummins and the PCA. And finally, we have as results the clusters. Here we have 4 clusters. The red one represents the main group of patients with stable and homogeneous gait patterns. These participants walk with a regular rhythm and balanced steps. It serves as the reference group for comparing all other gait profiles. The yellow one corresponds to a very specific gait type with very short steps and very high cadence. This pattern looks almost hyperactive or atypical compared to others. It may reflect an abnormal walking strategy or even an artifact in the data. The blue one includes patients with a faster and more dynamic gait. They have a higher cadence and longer swing time, meaning their steps are quicker and more energetic. These patterns shows better mobility but may still differ slightly from normal walking. The green one shows the most unstable gait with strong lateral variability and asymmetry. These patients often have balance problems and irregular step timing. It represents the most altered and risky walking patterns in our study. These clusters much known MS symptoms such as spasticity and ataxia. They give us objective ways to measure how the disease affects walking. This can help doctors identify patients who need specific rehabilitation, like balance training for those with unstable gait or exercises for muscle stiffness. In conclusion, our study shows that using gait analysis with machine learning can help identify different walking profiles in people with multiple sclerosis. These gait clusters give us objective information that can support better diagnosis and personalized rehabilitation. Our current database is still small because data collection was limited while the neurology department at the hospital was under renovation. But now we are expanding our data sets with new patients and plan to include other neurological diseases such as Parkinson's. This will make our model stronger and more useful for early detection and patient monitoring. Thank you for your attention.